Well, we'll get started in just a moment or so, but certainly welcome. It's good to have you back here with me. Hey Jane, how are you? Good to see you on here. Well, good morning and welcome back. It's good to have you back. First of all, let me apologize for Monday's broadcast that never really broadcast. So I'm going to redo Monday's broadcast today and simply add on an extra talk on the 23rd of December in order to get through the whole 10. As promised, today I'd like to take some time to talk about the Song of Mary. My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord. My spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has looked with favor on his lowly servant. From this day all generations will call me blessed. The Almighty has done great things for me, and holy is his name. He has mercy on those who fear him in every generation. He has shown the strength of his arm. He has scattered the proud in their conceit. He has cast down the mighty from their thrones and has lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he has sent away empty. He has come to the help of his servant Israel, for he has remembered his promise of mercy, the promise he made to our fathers, to Abraham and his children forever. Those words sung out by Mary are an important part of Matthew's announcement of the importance of the Christmas story. Matthew wants us to see a connection here. First of all, those canticles that we know from Matthew and from the Old Testament are an important literary form in the Old Testament scriptures. And so using that form so liberally in his gospel, Matthew is calling on his community to see something that we 2,000 years later very well might not see. You see, these great canticles of praise are peppered throughout the Old Testament at some very important times. If we think of something such as the song of Moses and Miriam in Exodus, they have just come through an incredible experience. They have crossed through the Red Sea. Their enemies have been destroyed. God has worked an act of power, and so the people sing. But that's the odd thing with the Song of Mary and its antecedent that I'm going to read to you in just a moment. These two canticles are sung out even before the act has been accomplished. Both Mary and Hannah, who I'm going to talk about her song in a few moments as well, have been granted a vision on the kingdom that God is initiating. And that vision is so compelling that they're able to sing about it with power as though they know that in their child it has already been accomplished, even if it's not yet visible for everyone else. These are songs of absolute trust in the fact that what God is beginning, God will bring to completion. They are songs that are about poetic reversals. This kingdom that God is ushering in is so completely different from the world in which we live today that Mary and Hannah both feel that they can only describe it in terms of a world turned absolutely on its head, a set of values completely different from the world in which we live. But I think the similarity of the two canticles I want to talk about also bears an important message. Let me read you the Song of Hannah from the book of Samuel. My heart rejoices in the Lord, my horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth speaks boldly against my enemies because I rejoice in your salvation. There is no one holy like the Lord. Indeed, there is no one besides you, nor is there any rock like our God. Do not go on boasting so very proudly. Do not let arrogance come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and with him actions are weighed. The bows of the mighty are broken to pieces, but those who have stumbled strap on strength. Those who were full hire themselves out for bread, but those who were hungry cease to be hungry. Even the infertile woman gives birth to 7, but she who has many children languishes. The Lord puts to death and makes alive. He brings down to Sheol and brings up. The Lord makes poor and rich. He humbles, he also exalts. He raises the poor from the dust. He lifts the needy from the garbage heap to seat them with nobles. He gives them a seat of honor as an inheritance, for the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he set the world on them. He watches over the feet of his godly ones, but the wicked ones are silenced in darkness, for not by might shall a person prevail. Those who contend with the Lord will be terrified. Against them he will thunder in the heavens. The Lord will judge the ends of the earth, and he will give strength to his king, and he will exalt the horn of his anointed. Hannah sings out a song that is almost shockingly echoed in Matthew's Magnificat. So I think we need to consider what is happening in this birth of Samuel in order to consider what Matthew wants us to see happening in the birth of Jesus. In the story of Samuel, the people of God have decided they no longer want to have God as their king and a series of judges working within the community. They say to Samuel, we want a king like all of our neighbors have. God gives them what they ask for. Samuel anoints Saul. Later, Samuel anoints David. And throughout the books of 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, we see that this experiment in monarchy has lots of difficulties along the way because each and every one of these kings has feet of clay. And so how is it that Samuel's mother can sing out that God is doing an entirely new thing in the birth of her child? Well, I think it's caught up in that moment when Samuel anoints David. Samuel is the prophet of the Lord. And Matthew is saying in his echo of Hannah's song, you think Samuel's something good? You better strap on a helmet because this vision is going to get real in the child that Mary bears. Samuel anoints David. Jesus comes as the son of David. Jesus comes as prophet like Samuel, but this prophet will also be the anointed one. Matthew announces in Mary's song that what began with Samuel, what began in David, is going to come to its fullness in Jesus. Mary's song announces the values of the kingdom that we see embodied in the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. I remember reading once about a king who went to hear the Magnificat sung. As he listened to it, he turned to the aide next to him and said, "It's a good thing they sing it in Latin because we wouldn't want the ordinary people to hear this message." The world in which we live is still a place that has a long way to go in terms of realizing the power of the kingdom that we've been invited into in Jesus Christ. Matthew's Mary sings out a vision of how this world should be and leaves it in our hands to get on board. Thank you for sharing this time with me today. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back again on Friday at 10 a.m. And I hope that you're continuing to enjoy a wonderful and holy Advent preparation. God bless you, and we'll see you on Friday.